right, now we go into the Top Fuel quarterfinals. And here comes Big Daddy, Don Garlett. He's won this event 3 times. He's won 5 national championships. He'll be running against Bob Ivitt. Don Garlett, I'm sure most of you know, sustained a severe injury to a foot, lost part of it, in an accident in California. Here he is, one of the great innovators, one of drag racing top figures. Don Garlett, back in the middle of it. If you want to see a pro start, watch this one. A great start by Garlett. He beat his man off the line. Shuts down halfway through, wins easy. 7.07 seconds for Garlett in beating Bob Ivitt. Garlett will go to the semifinals, beating the winner of the Jim Nicol-Marshall Love match, which is upcoming. He has won this event 3 times, 67, 68 back-to-back, and that's the feat that Don Prudhomme would like to duplicate. And meantime, in the pits, the tension is really growing where Don Prudhomme is at work. Quarterfinals, Don Prudhomme, the same thing over and over. On goes the safety equipment. The routine remains pretty much the same. How about the car? Has it been routine with it?
Well, everything's going pretty good so far. We just ran a 643. There's a low AT, and as long as the engine can stand up, we can win the meet. I don't know, though. We're going to have to run awfully hard, though.
Competition requires hard running here this year, doesn't it?
Oh, it gets tougher and tougher every year. I'll tell you, it's just really hard to stay on top.
Getting so much out of an engine, demanding so much, diminishes the reliability factor, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The engine's fresh. When it comes into the race, it's good for about 5 runs, and it's dead.
As he turns to continue the work with his crew, readying himself for the upcoming semifinals. Again, I'll say the tension is reflected visibly. You can never be too ready when you're going to go streaking down a quarter-mile stretch of concrete at 225 or 30 miles an hour in less than 7 seconds. There's the white Lynn, right by his side. The crowds that sometimes have grown so thick around the working area that they've had to ask marshals to move them away. Back on the staging area, a key match between Marshall Love of Arlington, Texas, and Jim Nicol of Spring Valley, California. A couple of tested veterans who have been so close to tasting the glory of a national championship. And it's a big moment for both men. Jim Nicol will be in the near lane. Marshall Love in the far lane. Both have been under 7 seconds in their last 4 runs. It's Jim Nicol at the top end, 6.59 seconds, and both men release their chutes late, way down the strip, and look at them bounce around. And they use all of the run-out area. Nicol, 6.59 seconds, 227 plus miles an hour. Marshall Love in losing at a 6.62, 227.2 seconds. Wow, what a tough way to lose. We mentioned earlier they look like figures out of some fantasy, but every piece of equipment they wear is needed and necessary, and particularly the mask when those fumes come blasting back into their face. We'll see Don Prudhomme and Pete Robinson right after this timeout. The temperature is now risen to better than 90 degrees. A sultry, hot, sticky day. Sneaky Pete Robinson, Atlanta, Georgia, has heated his tires, and he moves up onto the starting line. This is a crafty, tough veteran. Burning his tires, and watch how they expand as they come out of the bleach box. Don Prudhomme comes into the near lane. One time they used a plain bleach. Now they've gone to some very sophisticated substances to increase the traction. The way the rubber is burned into this track here at Raceway Park in Indianapolis, they don't need a whole lot of help for traction. This is a big match in the Top Fuel quarterfinals. Robinson and Prudhomme. Prudhomme wins it. Listen to the lap time. 6.45 seconds for Don Prudhomme. 208 miles an hour. Pete Robinson, 6.64 seconds. Elapsed time. His speed, about 207 miles an hour. So Don Prudhomme stays in it. And we'll be back for more later at Indianapolis. But right now, let's rejoin Jim McKay at Val d'Isere, France. The men's downhill skiing. Thanks very much, Jim, and I wish we had some of that snow and cool air here at Indianapolis Raceway Park as we continue our coverage of the National Hot Rod Association Nationals. You're looking into the pits of Don Prudhomme. He is just moments away from his semifinal race against Brian Budd. They are putting the car back together, afraid to gamble that everything might not be just right. His wife, Lynn, everybody who is part of this group, who could help, who can help, has been pushed into service on a stifling hot afternoon.
We're going to try one more run with these
tires. A cool, wet towel is mighty welcome. They'll button the car up as fast as possible now, having made some changes in the engine. And just moments from now, Prudhomme will be wheeled on to the staging area for his semifinal match. Meantime, there is action at the staging lane. Jim Nichols moving into the near lane from Spring Valley, California. He's going against Don Garlits of Cessna, Florida. Garlits almost a living legend as far as the NHRA Nationals are concerned. A three-time winner. Jim Nichols has never won a big one, but he's been close, and he's had a good season. And it's strictly shootout time right now with Big Daddy. The winner here goes to the Top Fuel Finals. Garlits in the far lane, Nichols in the near lane. The big crowd all standing. And the red light is shining in Don Garlits' lane. You won't see that very often, but Don Garlits has drawn a red light. He left too soon. Perhaps it was the bite of the track, the incredible traction you get here at Raceway Park. Whatever, Don Garlits has been eliminated by a foul, and thus ends his comeback to racing after his severe accident. But he made it to the semifinals, and he is still tough. Jim Nichols is the winner, and we'll have more in a moment. Here we go with the last of the semifinal runs in the Top Fuel category. Jim Nichols has already won his way into the finals. The winner of this one between Don Prudhomme moving up to burn his tires against Brian Budd, who moved into the near lane. Brian Budd was the low qualifier, rolled off the truck a couple of days ago and turned in at 6.66 seconds. Elapsed time is better than 212 miles an hour, and nobody can beat him in the qualifying. He has made his way to the semifinals. You would think at this juncture, however, Don Prudhomme might enjoy a psychological edge because Budd has not had the experience of Prudhomme nor the winning history. Very ticklish up on that starting line, and both men know it. Literally laden with fatigue. They have struggled and fought their way to this moment. And just a few seconds from now, it's going to be all over for one of them. Prudhomme in the far lane, Budd in the near lane. Red light on Brian Budd. Don Prudhomme is in the finals against Jim Nichols. Budd, realizing he had to get off quick, let it go too quick. He saw the red light himself and shut his equipment off and coasted on through the trap. And Don Prudhomme will be going against Jim Nichols for the Top Fuel Championship here at the Nationals. The Pro Stockers now will come wheeling around the corner. Arlen Banky of Akron, Ohio, in a Plymouth Duster, running against Herb McCandless of Burlington, North Carolina. He is in the Soxon Martin Duster right here. Both these men have been absolutely superb so far. Their starts have been impeccable. Their equipment is at a peak. This could be one of the quickest pro stock races you have ever seen. Colin Banky won here in 1968 at the Nationals, winning the Super Stock Championship. But this pro stock category is a little hotter. Red, white, and blue is McCandless. Banky's on the far side. Pro stock title on the line right now. They're shifting all the way through, and it is close. And it's McCandless the winner. 9.981 seconds. And hear this, Banky, 9.983 seconds, and both men get 138.03 miles an hour for their top speed. And let's take another look. The top speed is measured in the last 66 feet at the very end of the course, and you can see McCandless won it by the smallest of margins. You never been so happy in your life, Herb. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's the first big one for you, huh?
Yes, sir, in the pro stock, I'm really happy. I just don't know what to say.
Ronnie Sox would be sitting down under that tree kind of green.
Yeah, Ronnie's, he had some transmission trouble. It's just one of those things. I'd rather be lucky and fast a lot of times.
Really had to put the pressure on equipment this year, though, didn't you?
Yes, we really did. We really pushed the cars hard. This was the toughest field of cars I've ever seen.
Herb, you did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir.
So the young man from Burlington, North Carolina, Herb McCandless, wins his first major title at 27 years of age in the Sox and Martin Duster.
And now we're moving.
Now the final run for the motorcycles, running for the first time at the NHRA Nationals. It'll be Boris Murray of Laverne, California, on a Triumph in the far lane, running against Larry Welch of Chevrolet, Maryland. He is on a Triumph in the near lane. Murray has the quicker time so far in the competition of the two at 9.49 seconds. Welch at 9.51. They'll put it out here right now. In the finals, Buster Couch taking a good look. This is something new for everybody who's been coming to the NHRA Nationals for years here at Indianapolis. Burning the tires halfway through the quarter mile, and it is Welch at the top end. Listen to this. 9.34 seconds for Larry Welch, 161 plus miles an hour. Boris Murray at 9.14, but Welch beat him with a hole shot. We'll be back to talk with the top fuel finalists Jim Nickel and Don Prudhomme in a moment.
9.49.
Jim, you put it together yourself? You've come to the end of a long, hard week. What are you thinking right about now?
Well, I feel fortunate to get this far. It's been a heck of a good race all the way. Everybody's run good. It's been a terrific race. One of the best races I've ever been to, I guess.
It's actually been an incredible meet, hasn't it?
Certainly has.
What do you think it'll take to win?
Oh, I wouldn't even want to say.
Good luck, huh?
Yeah, take a lot of luck, that's for sure.
Most fellas say, I drive my own race. I'm running the clock, and then we'll see what happens to the other guy. Is that pretty much the way you go at it?
That's basically the way you have to feel about it. You know, Prudhomme's a very good runner and a heck of a good driver, so we'll just have to see what happens. That's all.
It takes a little what you call gut toughness when you come up in this moment, doesn't it?
That and a little lady luck, yeah.
Jim, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Jim Nickel from Spring Valley, California is certainly not an unknown factor. Prior to this meet, the national dragster in handicapping the field made particular note that he had been a consistent performer and been so close to winning one of the big ones. It also made note of the fact that he has been running some real hot stuff in his equipment, but he did come in as one of the listed favorites. Jim Nickel, to be reckoned with by Don Prudhomme.